everybody, to the latest podcast and vlog for those of you watching us of Marketing on Tap. This is my mate, Danny Brown. I am Sam Fiorello. And today, Danny, I want to talk about something very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's an article that I read in the Toronto Star in which a tech guru announces that, or declares, demands, suggests, however you want to read into this, that we get rid of all of our social media now.
Yeah.
So let me, maybe to preface it, it's only a couple of paragraphs, but I want to read what it says, what he suggests, because I think it's really, it's almost, I'm struggling with the word for it, but it's scary, I guess, is maybe a simple word to put it. What he's saying is like, this is really the end of times if we don't all get rid of our social media. So here, I'm going to read it really quickly. It says, if you're online these days, you'll likely sense that something's wrong with the internet. You probably feel weird about how many times you check your Facebook or Instagram every day, and likely a little bit uneasy about how annoyed or envious you feel when you do. Maybe the hostility online depresses you. Maybe you worry about the next generation and how anxious everybody seems. Maybe you're even considering deleting your accounts. Well, this is exactly what Jaron Lanier, a leader in the tech world, says we should do, and do it right away. He's a pioneer in the world of internet startups and specifically virtual reality, and has been a long time been a critic of Silicon Valley status quo, always trying to push the boundaries. But in his book, he makes 10 simple arguments that paints why wide-scale behavior has become so negative online. And there's a couple of things that he points out that's really scary. It says, there is no evil genius seated in a cubicle in social media company performing calculations or deciding that making people feel bad is more engaging and therefore more profitable than making them feel good, he says. Or at least he's never heard of one. The prime directive to be engaging reinforces itself. And no one even notices that negative emotions are being amplified more than the positive ones.
Especially in the last couple of years, I would say.
Right, exactly. And as he says it just seems to reinforce itself. And so the point, if you read, it's a short book, it's like the kind of thing you can read on an airplane ride. The point that he's trying to make in this is that because negativity is more strongly reinforced amongst us than positivity, that's what engagement has become, and it's self-propelling itself. Right. And so he, for one, and he's in the tech world, in Silicon Valley, and he's deleted all of his social media accounts. We know a lot of people, you've in fact sort of walked away from a lot of social media accounts. I know I've dramatically cut back the accounts that I have in my usage. And we know a lot of other of our friends that have just either taken digital vacations as becoming a thing to give your brain a break. Like if we need to have a digital vacation from social media, maybe he's got a point. There's something wrong with it. So I want to explore how that affects marketers today, us as individuals and us as marketers. But before that, what have you given me here?
So I know 2 weeks ago in the last podcast, a couple of weeks back or whatever, you really enjoyed the wheat beer that we got from Side Lunch.
Yes.
That we tasted from Side Lunch, sorry. So Muskoka Brewery up in good old College Country.
This is not a Radler, is it?
It's not a Radler, We might have to try a Radler.
I'm telling you, if this tastes like grapefruit, I will punch you in the throat.
This is tropical wheat. Okay, so it's got a nice mixture of, pineapple and mango, I think it was.
Okay.
So it's like a really good, summer-wise.
All right, well, I'm making a fist right now, getting ready.
Well, it's funny though, Muskoka Brewery, we've been speaking to some craft brewers on our journey and what have you, and they're believed to be the next one to get bought by corporate brewers.
Oh, really?
Which would be sad to see because it makes some great beers, and it'd be really sad if they were one of the ones. But never tried this before, so it's a new one for me. So cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Unexpected. This is definitely more of a wheat beer than it is a Radler. That's what I was worried about, that it was going to be some fruity.
You get the tropical fruits coming through, you get the oranges there, right?
Yeah, it's there, which is fine. I can live with that in a summer beer.
Right.
Like when you're by the pool or whatever.
But not a sour or a Radler, especially not a Radler.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially not a Radler. No, but this.
And I'm sure there's nothing wrong with Radlers, I just can't.
I know, we're going to start getting hate mail. What's wrong with a Radler?
Exactly. But no, this is nice. Good beer.
If you don't know, there's everything wrong with a Radler. At least in my opinion. I like that. I do like that. They're, so Muskoka Brewery, they're in Bracebridge?
Bracebridge in Muskoka, Muskoka's, I guess you call it, Muskoka County. Where,
you should check this out, guys.
Yeah, muskokabrewery.com. Real good.
They're not, by the way, this is not a scripted show, and it is not a sponsored show. This just happens to be,
us enjoying
sadly, what Danny and I like to do in our spare time. So, was he right? Is social media signaling the end of times?
I think you can say it is. It's like if you look at our own experiences, that with friends or colleagues, people are taking, as you mentioned earlier, digital vacations, digital breaks for like weeks and months at a time, and not even coming back. And you look at the health concerns. You mentioned it, in a blog post as well about mental health, taking time out from social media for mental health. And adults alike as well as kids and teens, we know that social media impacts their well-being, from pressure to keep up with the peers, etc. And so I think all that combined, and especially with the negativity and the divide of the last political environment, if you like, both in Canada and America, it's just exacerbating the whole issue with social media.
So it's not really, this is not hyperbole on his case. This is actually, this is a serious issue that's happening. Now, there's all kinds of, Twitter is dead, Facebook is dead. Now, we certainly know that based on some of the statistics that we're seeing just this week, Twitter announced, I don't think Twitter announced it, I don't think they want to announce it.
Facebook announced it.
Facebook announced that Twitter is just lost 20% of its market value, its share price value, because it reported decreasing users, as has Facebook now. So certainly people are taking these digital vacations and going off. That in and of itself is a signal that something is happening in this industry, be it because of Facebook security issues, be it because of the negativity that's happening, the trolling, be it because of the links that have been proven between increased usage of social media and depression and suicides. There's definitely this shift for whatever those reasons are. People are moving off. So this is not hyperbole on his case in terms of the warning signs. But is it realistic to think that people are going to stop using social media?
I think they'll stop to a degree. There's new platforms come along all the time. The guy's the owner of a VR startup company. So I kind of think there's a little bit of a sales pitch there that VR will be the next big thing where you engage with each other in the VR world. But I do, just like as a parent now, and as someone who's used social media for the last 10.
For those of you that don't understand Scottish, he said, as a parent.
Now.
Yes, now.
So I think you do see there's definitely changes in mindsets. People are looking for that one-to-one connection away from social, and they're finding that with the digital vacation, they're getting back to nature. To use a little overused phrase.
Certainly, the fact that we need to take digital vacations it should be a warning sign that there's something wrong with this. There is the saying that social media engagement is not social engagement,
right? And
that we definitely need that one-to-one. Be it over a beer, but you got to see somebody face to face. You got to shake their hand. You got to give somebody a hug. Digital connection doesn't replace it. That's for sure. But now, what does this mean to marketers? And I think this is the other thing. I'm just, looking at this article and just some of the highlights, because I've got the ebook up on screen that I bought. He's basically saying that this is social media, on purpose or not, is manipulating us, right? One of the issues there that it was saying is that we, social media reinforces, as I said earlier, reinforces negativity, and more so than it reinforces positivity. And as a result, negativity is becoming our norm for engagement.
Right.
And again, that's just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what does this do now to marketers? What do we do as marketers, as a marketing agency? So marketing for our own business, or marketing for our clients, or for those sales and marketing executives out there? Do they just say, social media is not going to be the same anymore. We might as well start planning for what's next, take our money out of social media and go somewhere else.
Yeah. I think it's like it's a catch-22. We spoke about in our recent privacy podcast about the challenges now for the platforms and marketers and advertisers using them based on the data and the privacy concerns, etc. And now, especially with the, it seems like people actually stepping away from social as marketers and advertisers and clients, etc. Do we now go back to, say, out of home? Now we take it back to out of home. Do we go with this chap's, VR? Do you go to video games where you have in-game marketing, in-game messaging in video games? Like EA Sports is one of the best around for getting brands relevant to the EA Sports titles to actually market, in-game, etc. So, any good marketing company or any, savvy marketer or advertiser or whatever, is always looking what's next, what's beyond. And I think if anybody still thinks that social media is going to have as good an impact for marketers and advertisers in the next 5 years, and Lord forbid, the next 10 years, I think they'll get very much woken up by a big shock to the system.
Well, I'd be kind of disappointed to see social media go away in the form that it is today, because quite frankly, it's been lucrative for us from a business perspective. Personally, I would actually love to see everything just blow up and have some kind of a big bang event.
Well, not like a physical big bang event. That's on its way. So
we have Zuckerberg coming in, out of the sky and just blowing up everything, and then we have to reset. I'm actually thinking, for a lot of reasons, politically, socially, social media, everything, that actually might be the only thing that's going to get us back on course. I actually got this conversation on a political discussion I was having on social media, that the only way we may get over this him versus me or me versus him attitude that is polarizing us is some kind of a major reset. Which is kind of scary to think about. But I'm wondering, do marketers take the lead? If we want to protect this world, because influence marketing, community building, online branding, Google advertising, Facebook advertising, which is becoming such a popular thing and quite frankly, lucrative and effective for marketers. We put so much money and effort into this social media world because quite frankly, it's working, right? It's a great way to build communities. It's a great way to engage communities. Do we need to protect that? Do marketers have a role? Should we be protecting it? Should we be trying to change the trajectory of this negativity that's happening online and keep more people on?
Well, I think the way to do it, if you want to do a reset, is hit the big networks where it hurts in their pockets. Because clearly we've seen this week, Facebook, Twitter. I think Snapchat also took a hit based on its affiliation on Instagram, but one of them was their affiliation with Facebook's advertising platform. So if marketers and brands, say to Facebook and say to these networks, okay, we're not going to spend as much until you really do clean it up. You remove the hate groups, you remove the negativity, you do more. Just this week we saw that, again, Facebook is having an issue with people trying to influence the midterms in the US.
Midterm elections.
Exactly. So even though the lessons I've learned with Cambridge Analytica, with the trolling of the 2016, all that, they're still getting impacted, and it doesn't seem they're doing enough. So maybe it is up to marketers to take our budgets and say, we'll come back, we want to come back, but we need this. I don't know. It's tough because it's a platform that is so embedded into people's lives. But because of that, it's impacted.
But you know what? It somehow, I'm not sure. I'm just thinking that marketers are like sheep. Unfortunately, we know this. There's a few of us that I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit, and I'm just gonna throw myself in that mix. There's a few of us that like to think ahead of the curve a little bit. And try to think what's next. But the reality is Twitter has been having a problem for a long time, right? I remember I was interviewed on a CBC news show about a year ago on Twitter, and all the negativity and the lack of new users that they were reporting at the time. And at the time I reported, or I predicted on that program, that something drastic is going to happen to Twitter, or it will actually go. This is when, remember, Disney was looking at buying it and a few other companies, and then they said, no, you're just too toxic. We can't. You haven't been able to control the negativity. You haven't been able to control the hate that's happened, the hate literature, the hate speech that you've been propagating. And at the time I said, something's got to happen. And it really hasn't. They haven't done that much. They've made some efforts, granted, I'll give them that, but it really hasn't changed the trajectory of the discourse. And so, but they're still, they made a profit. They decreased in users, yes, but they actually reported a profit last quarter. So people are still spending money. Advertisers are still spending money there. So I don't know. I'm not sure that marketers are necessarily the ones to lead the way. I'm thinking marketers have a tendency to be short-sighted. What's going to give me the biggest bang for the buck this month?
Yeah.
They're not thinking enough long-term. And I've always said marketers ruin everything, right? Because we look for the latest gimmick and we throw money at it. And we all try and write books and become experts at it, as opposed to playing the long game. Of course, part of that is the fact that we're paid by people that are looking for short-term results.
Right, exactly.
So that's a little bit of a difficult thing. All right, so we're getting our bell. We still don't have a bell. This is a very low-budget show. We really got to get our last call bell.
Please send us a bell.
Yes. Can we have a Kickstarter program?
No, for a bell.
For a bell. Okay, so last call. What is the last thought that you want to leave people who might be listening and on this topic? Should we be worried about it? Should we be taking a lead? Should we be jumping ship and looking for the next thing?
I think we do need to look for the next thing. Just from a preparation point of view, it's clear that they might not leave this year, next year, but it's clear people are seriously thinking about how they spend their time online and what they're doing online, and especially with all the negativity and what they can't control, but how it makes them feel.
Yeah.
And they're seeing people close to them get hurt because of online activity, So I think once you start seeing that impact, then it just takes the first, domino to topple. I think marketers have a chance to impact the conversation, but it's like you said earlier, it's they have to look further ahead.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, because I found myself over the last couple of weeks saying this in a lot of different interviews that I've done. It isn't necessarily about the social media platform, it's about the community building, right? And with influence marketing in particular, something we talk about a lot and we do a lot of, it's not about the platform that you're identifying influencers with, it's about building the community, and then within that community identifying influencers that are natural and organic and trustworthy and authentic. So I'm thinking that from a marketer standpoint, what we should be doing is continuing to roll up our sleeves, continuing to play the long game, continuing to build communities regardless of the platform. That community that can transfer from one platform to another. Build those communities of fans that have a purpose to it, and not rely on someone else's community. So not rely on Facebook to have that community, because you don't own that data anyway. They're the ones monetizing it and making the money. Don't rely on Twitter. Don't rely on Instagram, because we do know Google Plus, and think about some other communities that may be around still but are essentially dead from a practical purpose. So is it really worth investing in any? And given some of these lessons that we're learning about how we're being manipulated and the negative effects of social media, that big bang might actually be coming sooner than we think. So build your community so that community is purposeful, independent, and can be transferred. That's, for whatever it's worth, that's my last thought. I think it's brilliant, but I think everything I say is brilliant. So I'm not really a good judge of my own brilliance. So that's it. Thank you everybody for listening, for watching, for those of you that are online, and thank you, even though Muskoka Brewery, you did not send us up here. Thank you for making such a great beer. That surprised me, actually. I'm going to have to definitely finish this one right now. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody.